Welcome to the Outdoor Marketing Podcast, the show that brings fresh marketing and creative strategies to the outdoor industry, helping professionals tell their story with clarity and impact. I'm your host, Miles Ramsey, and today's guest is Chelsea Olsen. Chelsea has an incredible background in marketing. She is a LinkedIn expert, if I do say so myself. She's incredible when it comes to LinkedIn, general marketing strategies, and so much more. You're going to get a lot of good insights from this conversation today with Chelsea, so we'll dive in here in just a few seconds. So you know what to do. Stick around.
The Outdoor Marketing Podcast is a spin-off of the Outdoor Marketing Bootcamp, a 2-day virtual learning event on February 17th and 18th, 2026, which covers a wide range of marketing topics, from AI and SEO to influencer marketing, social media content creation, branding, video, and so much more. Tickets are on sale now at outdoormarketingbootcamp.com. Support for this podcast is provided by American Trails, advocating for more trails and better trails. Check out their site at americantrails.org. Support is also provided by 5280 Creative, a branding and marketing agency which specializes in the outdoor industry. Check out their work at 5280creative.com. That's the number 52, 80 spelled out, creative.com.
All right, welcome to the Outdoor Marketing Podcast, and I have joining me here today, Chelsea Olsen. Chelsea, thank you so much for being a part of this.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You and I worked together, full disclosure. We worked together for a little bit at a Washington, D.C. agency, and so that's kind of how I got to know Chelsea a little bit. And what I was always impressed with was you have sort of an amalgamation of a lot of different characteristics that kind of fit either in marketing or adjacent to marketing. Tell us about your background, because I know you have some sales background, you have some general marketing background. Give me the gamut here.
Thank you. And honestly, that's been the hardest part for my personal brand, right? You're talking about sales, revenue, marketing, where do I fit in?
Mm-hmm.
And I never really do fit in anywhere.
That's a good thing. That's not a bad thing not to fit in. That means you're a unicorn.
Well, I hope so. So I started off in sales early on, actually doing door-to-door sales for an alarm system company down south when I was in college. Graduated with a finance degree, worked in financial sales, banking, that whole realm. While I did that, I was also working and side hustling. So I was consulting. I also owned a promotional modeling agency and experiential marketing agency. I was doing marketing emails and websites. I was doing everything for small businesses. I did anything I could to make extra money. Then I segued into the agency space eventually back in 2017 and kind of found a little home there for a while. And that's when we met. Worked with a lot of marketing agencies to try to help them build revenue. So mainly on the sales side, but over the years, definitely branched in deeply into brand positioning and communication and how important that is when it comes to sales, because a revenue system is really not going to help you if you can't communicate what you do.
That's exactly right. Well, and I think that, unfortunately, I think that Western society has this tendency to think of almost to downplay the importance of being a good seller, because I don't know why that is. I don't know where that comes from. I don't know if it's a used car salesman. I have no idea where that kind of negative connotation comes from, but there's nothing to be ashamed of with being a really good salesperson, as you and I both know, because ultimately, and you kind of hit on it a little bit, and I was hoping you could elaborate a little bit more, being a good salesperson is about telling an effective story, right? And getting people to resonate with that story. Can you talk a little bit about how you kind of interweave story into your approach to sales?
That's a great question. So yeah, storytelling is important. And what's even more important is when you start telling a story, knowing who you're telling it to. So it goes back to the same basic principles we've always had. It's knowing your customer, or in my case, it's knowing your prospect. And really understanding who you're communicating with and what's going to grab their attention, what's going to be important to them. Because you might want to tell one story to somebody else, but another story to someone. So if you're selling to someone in tech, they might care more about the features or how it's going to be in compliance, right? If you're selling a software. But if you are selling to someone who's in revenue, they're going to want to know about the ROI, right? So you just need to know who you're communicating with so you could tell the best stories possible to help make them make an informed decision.
Yeah, for sure. In this space, so of course, this is the Outdoor Marketing Podcast, right? So we're speaking to a lot of people in the outdoor space that that are very passionate about, the great outdoors and about
Yeah,
protecting public lands. Can you? I don't know how much you know about that audience specifically, but
a
can you?
lot.
Okay, very good. So, I was
Yeah.
going to say, can you speak to that? And so again, sales is right there adjacent and maybe even overlapping quite a bit into marketing, right? And I think a lot of the audience for our the outdoor marketing bootcamp for this podcast, they are trying to connect the dots of like, okay, we're really passionate about it. How do we get those prospective donors or corporate sponsors? How do we get them to understand our passion and then to pull that over? I think that's the big mystery here in this space.
Yeah, you're selling attention essentially. And in today's market, attention is everything. Can you gain it? If you can, that's top of funnel, right? And then how can you hold that attention and then from there convert that into some type of action you want them to take, whether that's a sale or a donor or signing something, right? I mean, I've worked
Hmm.
with tons of different nonprofits, associations, government agencies. I mean, just one that comes to mind right now is Ducks Unlimited. That's a big one. They're
Hmm.
very passionate, that group, and like, how do we communicate what they do? And it's a sensitive topic, right? So
Yeah.
it gets to be challenging because, like you're saying, the people within the company, they are so passionate and they understand things so well.
Hmm.
So the best advice I have actually is to dumb it down.
Yeah.
So find a way to communicate with people as if you were speaking to, I say, a grad or a grandma. So I have a grad and grandma test that I take my clients through. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, because that's, you need that level of understanding, quick understanding, right? Because if we confuse people, we lose them. We want to
Hmm.
gain attention. So when you're communicating your message, could grandma understand it? Could a
Hmm.
recent graduate understand it within 5 seconds or less? And that's not just verbal communication, that's really written. So when they come to, well, let's start with like an ad. They come across your organization
Hmm.
and they see an ad, they see a video, something hopefully you produce, right? Are they going to understand within 30 seconds or 15 or maybe five if you're on social what it
Yeah.
is kind of that the company does? And then from there, when they go to a website or a landing page or a LinkedIn page or any page, within 5 seconds, is that going to move them further down the funnel? Are they going to
Yeah.
have clarity and understand what you're doing? And that truly is the most important part.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you went to that spot because I mean, and it doesn't matter. This no matter the industry that somebody's in, this is the problem that you and I run into a lot, or the challenge I should say that we run into a lot with people as they go, boy, why isn't this working? We're telling them everything all at once, and you're going,
Mhm.
yeah, that's the big problem right there. Is you're telling them everything all at once, and most people, attention spans are so short nowadays, and somebody doesn't have 10 minutes to stop down and try to really take a deep dive into exactly what you're selling or what you're trying to get them to do. They have what, I don't know, 5, 10 seconds at the most. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, you literally have 5 seconds. I've written articles on this. I mean, people, their attention span, it's like less than a goldfish at this point.
Hmm.
And the biggest thing is again, like that confusion factor. But people also need to understand another statistic, which
Hmm.
is that people are seeing 4,000 to 10,000 ads per day.
Hmm.
They're getting hundreds of email messages, hundreds of Slacks, text, pings on social.
Yeah.
Their brain can't actually handle that information.
Yeah.
So they have a part of there's a part of your brain that shuts this information off
Hmm.
to protect you. It's
Hmm.
your reticular activating system or activation system. I always say it wrong.
Okay.
But it shuts down all the noise around you. So people that are in marketing and sales, they're
Hmm.
pushing their messages out and they don't seem to understand that the buyers or the people they're trying to communicate to, that their brains are actually blocking the information subconsciously before it could even hit conscious thought.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get through that. So if it's not familiar, relevant, or clear, right? Because anything that's not that is
Hmm.
considered unsafe, the brain's going to push it away.
Makes sense.
And that's the reason. It's a scientific reason we have to communicate clearly and also target our messaging to the right people.
Sure.
That's the other thing. Like, not everything's for everyone. So
Yeah.
get very clear.
There was a speaker I saw once, and a pretty good speaker, but one of the lines that really stuck with me was, when you try to be all things to all people, you become nothing to anyone. And boy, we find that to be true just over and over and over and things. So like yeah, like you said, make sure you're talking to the right people and make sure that your message is succinct and impactful to that person so that even if they don't want to take the deep dive right then, well, the hope is, right, with like Bader Meinhof or frequency effect, that you would be able to hit them enough times with that very simple message that when the time comes, they go, "Oh yeah, that's right. Chelsea, she does that thing over there on LinkedIn. I need to dive into that a little bit more." Yeah. Uh,
That just that just happened to me, by the way. There was a company, Closers.io, and I've been fed their ads like 100 times.
mhm.
This woman was reaching out to me, and I'm like, I think I know who your owner is. I'm like, he has black hair. Like, I remembered the guy's face
Yeah.
from the ads. I've ignored it. They've probably been served to me. I'm not even joking, over 100 times.
Yeah.
But my brain somewhere, it's like it was relevant enough to where my brain was like, oh yeah, they do ads for small agencies, solopreneurs, and people with coaching programs.
Hmm.
Okay, like somewhat my world.
Hmm.
So it's true. Like your brain will pick it up if it's relevant
Yeah.
and the frequency. That's huge.
I want to get at something that drives me a little bit personally crazy, especially on the LinkedIn platform, which I know that you are. I would call you a guru at it. I think that you do an incredible job at LinkedIn, and I think you have a really great brain for that. So this kind of leads us into that. But something that drives me crazy is all of the canned messages that I'll get, the mass messages that are supposed to be to me personally, quote unquote, on LinkedIn from people. Tell me about what's your philosophy on how to use LinkedIn effectively as a seller or as somebody that's trying to get people into the funnel? What would you recommend? Because I imagine you wouldn't recommend, messaging 100 different people with, "Hello, I am so and so from XYZ company, and we have a deal." I'm guessing you would not recommend that. So walk me through that jungle.
I do not recommend that. I have a school community where I teach individuals all about this and everything else related to generating revenue on LinkedIn. And this one's a big one for me. And in the past, I've shared messages like you're speaking of just to shine a light on it and say, like, hey, here's a bad example and here's a good example of what to do.
Mhm.
So there's two parts to LinkedIn. One's marketing and one is sales, and they're different, right?
Sure.
You can use outbound for marketing because it's top of the funnel. You're trying to gain attention. So where you can use those more automated messages is like if you have a list of people who viewed your profile or liked a post or something, you're just like, hey, just want to connect. So like, thanks for your love on my post and leave it at that, right? You're not
Right.
selling them.
Not selling. It's
Or
not time to sell at that point. Yeah.
no, it's top of the funnel, like just getting them in the network, getting them in your orbit, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, Events, another great thing. This is one of my biggest ways that I drive revenue for myself and my clients is hosting events. So with that, we'll have a list and we'll send out the invites through
Yeah.
LinkedIn, and that's, fine for spamming, let's say. Because it's relevant, like it's a very curated list.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to actually have a conversation, you cannot do that. You have to send a personalized connection request.
Hmm.
On top of that, I highly, highly recommend video messages that are personalized.
Hmm.
You can't fake that. Like no AI in the world can look like me speaking to you, right? Miles, like they're
Hmm.
close,
Hmm.
and I've cloned myself. I've done it.
Yeah.
But you could still feel it on
There's
the other.
an uncanny valley effect there. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, there's something there that people would know. So when you hop on, you're just like, hey, Miles, thanks so much for connecting
Yeah,
with me. I wanted you to know I'm not spam. So you were posting on LinkedIn. Looks like you're doing a great job. Just, wanted to ask because I'm curious, like, is creating content something that you're trying to use to drive revenue? Or, what
yeah,
does that look like as far as your business model goes, right?
for sure.
That's different than all these other things you're getting.
Yeah. Well, I always tell, our small but mighty team, I always tell them there's two things that people really want from you, and these are the two things that can't be faked, and it's ideas and relationships, right?
Mm.
If you can bring great ideas, but you have the ability to establish and build a great relationship with somebody. I think that's what people want. I think they want, I think authenticity is a word that maybe is overused, but in effect, that's kind of what we're talking about is like, do you really have solutions that you feel like can help that person? And are you willing to invest into that person to get to know them in a way that reflects a desire to maybe to be there for them, not only in business, but I mean, potentially that spills over into personal relationships and things like that. I think that I was always told early in my sales career, maybe you can add to this, like essentially like you like set up almost a wall between people, so that like they can't really get to know you and there's not almost like transference type of thing. I've always disagreed with that. Like I think that some of my favorite clients, I would call them, close connections or even friends now. So I don't, can you speak to that at all? What's your philosophy when it comes to that?
We share the same philosophy. It's funny because I did a post on this pretty recently, and I talked about how when I was younger, I felt like I was wearing a mask when
Yeah.
I went into work.
Yeah.
And it was big for me. Like that played on my heart a lot because I didn't feel like A, I was living my true purpose, but B, being my full authentic self. And I think that is important. And we all came here with a light that we need to shine out and
Yeah.
we need to be our true selves. And feeling like that was blocked was hard for me in my young 20s working in corporate,
Hmm.
especially surrounded by all the men. And like, back then things were different, right? Like we are talking 15 somewhat years ago.
Sure.
The environment was different than it is today.
Sure.
So there were elements that were interesting in that environment. But yeah, with sales, like I think you should definitely be real and build real relationships. My
Sure.
clients have my cell phone number. Like every single one of my clients has my cell phone number.
Sure.
They know to text me. None of them abuse it, but that door is open. They're my clients. If they need something, they don't need to go through my inbox. Like they can just
Yeah.
get, I'm a mom, I have my kids. We were talking before, I'm at lacrosse, I'm at coaching, I'm watching games, like whatever they need. If it's real serious, they know they can text me. Like that level to me is important in business today.
Yeah. Well, and we're taught, early sellers are taught a myriad of different things, some good, some bad. I really think that there's a big difference between one of the things that we typically have been taught in the past, which personality mirroring is something that's kind of talked about. I think there's a big difference between that and actual having real empathy for people.
Mhm.
So one feels very fake and one feels very, very genuine, but and I've kind of lost my train of thought. I'm not really sure where I'm going with that. But I think yeah, okay, to wrap it back around, I just think that there's sort of like a technique based selling that maybe we learn at an early age, and that maybe is an impediment. Like you said, finding your like being authentic and being who you are. Some of those things can be an impediment to finding that because again, I think people want to have they want to look in the mirror of the person they're talking to and almost have that reality of what you're going through, Chelsea, reflected back to me. So like whenever I say coaching, you said lacrosse. Yeah, I coach lacrosse. So immediately, and we already have a good connection, but immediately we've built upon that connection just by being open with the things that we have going on in our everyday life. And like I remember being early in my career and like you said, wearing a mask and feeling like, I'm a super goofy dude, right? Like you know that about me. Like, but I remember feeling like I couldn't bring that, to a sales call or to a creative intake or whatever. And I don't know what point I was just like, screw it, let's just go for it and see what happens. But I felt like when I took off that mask, like you were saying, that's when things really started to open up. So
Yeah, and that's how I feel too. I mean, can I share a funny story about
yeah,
you?
please, yo, go.
We went on
I
a
don't
sales
know.
call. Me and you did a sales call together, and I come on. It's a big name client, and I had my big headphones, right? And you were
Oh,
like, just so you know, guys, Chelsea's a gamer. The gamer's here or something. And I was cracking up, but it was the best way to open it because you know how many times if you're on with like an enterprise level company, Amex or something,
right,
JP, you'd be like, hello, everyone's stiff. And it's like,
right.
guys, you're selling to people, wake up. Like, it's okay to be funny. And you were so funny in that moment. And I
It's
was like,
okay. It's funny you say that because like I'm totally remembering that now. Yeah, because you were having audio problems and you had to
yeah,
get on like a almost like a gamer headset type thing with
yeah,
the microphone. I was like, sorry guys, this is really embarrassing. I hate to admit this, but
yeah,
we've been having problems with Chelsea. Like, yeah, I was like playing Call of Duty or something like that. Come on,
yeah,
Chelsea,
yeah,
can you please put down Call of Duty so we can talk to the client? And yeah, you're right. Like things like that, like you
yeah.
can instantly break the ice with somebody. And then I don't remember if we won that or not. I have no idea, but that's
It
really,
felt
really funny.
good.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, but it's like
hilarious.
it like feels good. And I think that you know what the other thing is too? It's okay if you don't win everything. And as
Yeah,
a seller, you're not taught that, but I completely detached years ago.
yeah,
I'm just like, I am on this discovery call to make your life better.
that's
Whether
right.
you become a client or not, I'm going to leave you with something to make your life better. That's why actually I built the school community because it's only $399 for 3 months and then two courses, weekly calls. Like it gives people a way to work with me if
Yeah,
they don't have higher budgets where like
absolutely.
I'm like, at least I give you something, right? Or free content and blogs. Like it's like
Yeah,
that's why I built my brand the way I did because I
yeah.
wanted to be able to give every single person who wanted to grow from me an opportunity to.
Hmm. Okay, lightning round, and I want to give you a time here at the end to plug, but we have to go lightning round before that. Are you ready?
Okay,
Okay.
let's go.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke. Oh yeah.
100%, no Pepsi.
No.
Good for you. That's the right choice, by the way.
Yes.
Although Pepsi is the taste of a generation, but the wrong generation. All right,
The
Coke,
wrong one.
Coke all the
Yeah.
way. Uh, marketing book, newsletter, YouTuber, whatever. Anything you'd recommend somebody out there to start listening to, start reading. What would you recommend?
Ooh. I'm gonna plug someone's book,
Please
Gap
do.
Selling by Keenan.
Gap selling.
By Keenan. That man is a genius when it comes to sales.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check that one out myself. All right, what do you think? Pineapple on pizza? Yes or no?
No, no.
Okay, no matter what.
No, I'm a New Yorker. No.
So yeah, then the ideal, what is New York slice? Is that the ideal?
Like a pepperoni,
Yeah, you got to be the pepperoni. Got to do pepperoni.
like chicken pizza. That's good too.
Okay, all right. You got to pick one. If you could only do one of these activities in the great outdoors, what would you do? Would you rather bike, hike, paddle, or climb?
Paddle.
You're a paddler. Okay.
Mhm.
Kayak or paddleboard or canoe? What do you like?
So I'm a surfer. So
You're a
we got
surfer.
that. I love anything that has to do with water. So I'm in for, I would love to try kayaking. I would love
Okay.
it. Yeah,
But you're a surfer.
I am.
Where'd you grow up at?
Long Island.
Long Island. Okay, very good. And you were in Myrtle Beach a little bit. Did I read that right on your profile on LinkedIn?
Yeah, yeah, but I started surfing here when I was
Yeah.
4 years old because we have really good waves and no one knows that New York has great waves.
I didn't know that either. Okay, very cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, last one here. If there was one specific thing in the marketing space that you would encourage someone listening to this podcast to do, what would it be? Would it be to do a better job on LinkedIn? What would it be?
No, it would be to run their current messaging through ChatGPT and ask it if a recent graduate or a grandma could understand it.
I like that. I like that a whole lot. I like that. I'm going to start using that test. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to give you a chance. You kind of talked about it just before this, but take a minute here. Plug anything you want to plug.
Honestly, I'll plug LinkedIn, come to the page, check it out, see if it's stuff you're into, if you can learn anything from it. There's newsletters, videos, blogs. And if that's, helpful to you, then head over to the school community.
Very good. One thing I want to talk about just real quick here is that Chelsea is going to be doing a presentation at the Outdoor Marketing Bootcamp, specifically focusing in on LinkedIn, which I think that there is a real missed opportunity in the outdoor space on LinkedIn right now. For anyone listening, I think you definitely that's worth the cost of admission right there. Some of the things that Chelsea's going to demonstrate. So I'm super, super, super excited for that one. That's going to be one of my favorite sessions. I already know it. So thank you
Oh,
for
I'm so excited to be there. It's
yeah,
gonna be great.
it's gonna be great. Okay, very
Yeah.
good, Chelsea. Thanks a million for jumping on here, taking the time. Super, super appreciate it. And for anyone listening, we want to thank you, of course, for listening. Check out future episodes of the show, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. Those are the avenues that you can arrive at the Outdoor Marketing Podcast. And of course, don't forget to check out the website at outdoormarketingbootcamp.com. Check out the full list of speakers and probably buy a ticket. That'd be a good idea too. So thanks everybody for listening. Appreciate it.